Hey everybody, nice surprise showed up on my doorstep today. It wasn't expected for a couple days, but this is the just released Marvel 1963 Omnibus. Marvel came out with an omnibus in 19 that covered every book that early Marvel produced the same month as Fantastic Four #1, and that included the Cowboy comics, the Patsy, Heidi collections, just the girls' books, and the what do you call the westerns and all that stuff. And 1962, we see a little more superhero stuff coming along with Spider-Man. And now, here it is, baby. Here it is. This is the 1963 volume, and love that cover. I can't remember who did it. Well, I think you would love it too if you could see it with like shitty okay, focusing, there we go, it's better. Okay, I can't remember if that's Javier Polito, but this is what came out that month. The same month that X-Men debuted was the same month Avengers 1 came out. Well, also Sergeant Fury. Let me get some of the shine off of this. So by ever so gingerly undoing. If I was doing this for the camera, I could probably do it a lot quicker and easier. But I don't want to damage it, or because I will just cry and keep crying all through the night. You know, comics do that to me. So. When I say girls comics, I just mean like the old-fashioned paper doll comics that were geared towards girls at the time. I know they're in every kind of book now. July 1963. I guess you did that cover. Beautiful, beautiful. I'm really curious what 64 and 65 are going to be like, but book design. My hat's off to Rodolfo Muraguchi. Let's see, who did the cover? Well, you see here, we're still having some of that. Maybe I'll give a credit next page. Okay. Let's see. Oh, Javier Rodriguez. Okay, I was kind of thinking that. This stuff's amazing. Well. Just to go over this real quick, Fantastic Four Annual #1 came out, and that was a big deal too. It was all new. It was 72 big pages with no reprints, and just a lot of cool stuff going on. Marlin the Magician. That was Thor. Really was wonky the first year because went through Stan couldn't write it for a while, and Jack couldn't write it because he was doing everything else too. And so you had people, Larry Lieber did his best, and some other guy, maybe R. Burns, and then Al Hartley, all these people that just were mismatches for superheroes. So this book got really neglected. I'm kind of surprised. I wasn't surprised when Giant Man got kicked out of Tales to Astonish because they never figured out an angle with him. I'm not saying he has to have some, his Uncle Ben shot or have a heart attack in Vietnam or something. It's just he had no real, other than being a scientist, he had no real personality. I mean, the Wasp is the one who had all the personality because she would flirt and she would, she actually did a lot smarter things than he did. Anyway, Avengers 1 came out, and this wasn't supposed to come out yet. Let me throw you some knowledge, as they say. As I said 5 years ago. Daredevil 1 was supposed to come out by Bill Everett, and it ended up coming out a year later because Everett had a daytime job at a advertising firm, I believe, and so evenings and weekends he would work on Daredevil #1, which was Kirby did the cover, and it also had photo stats from the interior shots of Bill Everett faces of the main characters, and it took a year to do, and supposedly Steve Ditko did the last few pages to help the book get done. And so then 2, 3, and 4 are kind of crappy. They're banged out by Joe Orlando and Vince Colletta in record time. I mean, Joe Orlando's generally really damn good, but he wasn't in that case. But that was supposed to be Daredevil. Well, in lieu of Daredevil, despite the story of, why don't we get all superheroes together like Justice League? No, that was just like a backup plan, and it worked. And it also probably contributed to the up and down crazy writing of it for the first 6 months, which is incredible. I mean, the Hulk leaves in the second issue. It never comes back, Sergeant Fury. This really perplexes me. I mean, I like Sergeant Fury. This is issue 3. It's just that, how did they go to Martin Goodman with, Jack had all this knowledge as an infantryman, and how did he sell a war comic to them? Because I think DC had, they had Sergeant Rock and all this stuff, but it was done very, very, very straight and literal. And this was almost like, they were good stories, they were solid stories, but they're just so over the top, almost in a cartoonish fashion. It's like, how do you sell World War II in such a zany, cartoonish fashion? These are the books I was talking about earlier. Strange Tales, first appearance of the Plantman. I just call him Plantman. Rawhide Kid, Tales of Suspense with the Crimson Dynamo. He's probably my favorite comic villain from that era. Doctor Doom, first significant appearance of Spider-Man with somebody else's foe. And, he's pretty worried this issue because he took out the Fantastic Four. And this is good. Patsy and Hetty. I found myself really enjoying these too, because every couple panels they'll have a different outfit or hairstyle on the girls, and they'll say, sent in by, Marge Jibber Jabber from Wisconsin and stuff like that. And I find it so incredibly charming. And July 1963. I wasn't even thought of yet. So let's go over this. I know I'm working in my own shade, but I already opened this box and realized I was in my own light. So please forgive me. Oh, that big old nose. That's so cool. That's so imposing. I wonder if they have it. Okay, who does the opening? Roger Stern. Yeah. He's good. Hay and Roy Thomas and Steve Englehart. They have steel traps for minds. I mean, they have great memory. The biggest problem with the whole Stan versus Jack argument for many years is that both of them have notorious horrible memories, because they were just a machine. The two of them together or separate, and you didn't look in the rearview mirror. You just kept producing. So we start off with this. Look at that beautiful! It's almost like candy. It's almost like little pieces of candy you just want to peel off and eat. Yeah. And Spider-Man, drawn very poorly, awaits in these pages. That's okay. I'm being ugly, but a lot of people say, Kirby created Spider-Man. Well, that's a whole story. It's for another time. Really, really cool stuff. My first exposure to this was in 1984 when Marvel was really flooding the, not just the newsstands, but they were flooding the direct sales markets too. And they came out with these $2 high quality Baxter reprint, like double-sized issues, and they retail for $2, whereas the average comic at the time was like 65 or maybe 75. And there's that. Now you look this up. This really happened. Khrushchev is like bagging on. He's saying, he basically said, "We will take America without firing a shot. Communism is the future." And who knows? I ain't gonna say anything. It's just wacky, but a lot of people don't know there was an actual occurrence. I know it's been wiped away. Okay, I don't know about politics. Crap. These. And here's the. Here's the thing that really they put so much fun in this. I mean, you didn't see this in a DC comic at the time. They were very kind of stodgy in their plotting, and they this is just fun. It's just like seeing all these pin-ups by of these weird characters that existed outside of this book. I mean, most books DC and others were self-contained, which is good, but to an extent to where you hardly ever really reference another villain for a long while. It's kind of odd that you would. Here they're showing characters that don't appear in this issue. I mean, they might appear in the in a future issue. Jim Starlin and Mike Friedrich brought him back to life on the first Marvel feature. Oh my God, that's so incredible! Because it's the Incredible Hulk, the Mad Thinker, and his putty-faced buddy, and it reprints FF1. Now, here's the deal. The Torch has been redrawn, and this had to do. He looked like this in the original issue, but at this time, Carl Burgos, the creator of the original Human Torch, he was starting to lawyer up a little bit about the Human Torch, and I think they had. I think Saul Brodsky redrew the Torch to match what we currently know as the Torch. If you see the original, it's a vast difference. So I think it was just that's the way it goes. You know what I mean? Comics are, it's a hard business. You learn a hard lesson, one way or the other. But there's a lot of good stuff too. Why am I going off track with being a negative? What do you call that? Nabob. I don't even know who said that. Okay, Merlin the Magician. Oh boy. However, those gray covers just knock me out. Shit, I love the gray. It just makes everything pop out. I don't think anybody does gray covers anymore. I mean, unless it's someone in a sewer or something, where gray is called for. Okay. The Porcupine. Oh, no, not a character. But, what the heck? And you can see sort of nobody was really thrilled with that book. Don't Miss the Avengers. See, they put that in an ad. That's also in Sergeant Fury #3. Go get 'em, Howlers. What was amazing about that, too, is it was a completely integrated group. You had Sarge, you had a very thinly veiled Dean Martin there. You had some young kid, I can't remember, Juniper, I think. And you had Izzy Cohen, who was Jewish. And I can't remember, he's the Southern guy too. But there's African American. You never saw African Americans, even if it's not the right color. And you got Dum Dum Dugan and a good old Irishman. They're all having a good old card fight. I mean, but that was a big deal. In fact, the first issue, you may have heard this. The colorists at the printing plant thought that Marvel had got it wrong, so they colored Gabe Jones white throughout the first issue until Stan clued them in. So, but yeah, here you'll see like hair changing, and she has that kind of hair. And then the next scene, she'll have something else. Delicious Millie's Hairdo by Brenda Taylor, Savannah, Georgia. There's supposed to be two N's. Oh, Sylvania, Georgia. Oops, shame on me. So, and then I'm going to cut these out later. You're right. So, they're fun, and I love seeing it because, this stuff, a lot of this stuff, especially like it just got tossed away. And most comics did back then. I mean, comics collectors didn't really. There were some, but there were very, very few. There are not very many at all. And like the Roy Thomases and his pal Jerry Bales, they really got into like buying comics as a serious hobby and possibly a job. So here comes. I wonder what he's got on his mind. So the Shoemaker's Strange Assistants. Rawhide Kid. With Kirby and Ayers doing some lovely stuff. Ayers is good at bringing the grit. That's beautiful. I don't think I've ever seen a panel like that before. Well, he's shooting coins in the air because the Comics Code Authority would not allow the good guys to shoot actual bad guys. They would shoot and knock guns out of other people's hands. The bad guys' hands. So he goes, the Crimson Dynamo. I used to have this book. I sold my collection like an adult around 1986 or so. But, they're still in reprint form. And Marvel has never come out with a toy nor a bust of the original Crimson Dynamo. Now I'm gonna have to learn how to use some Sculpey to make one, because I just love it. He's like a big old lobster. It was a rock lobster. There we go. And a lot of this stuff is, I mean, it's all been reproduced, re-scanned, refreshed, restoration to every single line. A lot of this stuff, like the superhero stuff, it's already been done for the Marvel Masterworks. So really, the cost is only for like the Patsy and Haiti, or Heidi, and some of the other ones. And also the Atlas, like that's already been done. But that's okay. It's cool. It just lets you know. I'd like to imagine myself what it was like to see all these books on the stands. Too Good Kid. Up. Kathy. For some reason, Patsy Walker stopped talking to her, I guess, when she got incorporated to the MCU proper. Here is Jack Keller. Oh my gosh. He's just great. Probably my favorite of the Marvel guys who can do Western adventures at the time. What is this? Who's this? Hang in there. Oh, Paul Rainman. Yeah, he's mostly an inker, but he does do some interior arts as well. He did some of that stuff for the MLJ book with the revival of the Shield and Steel Sterling and all that. That was just horrible. But when he does short stories, it's perfectly fine, and he's a bold inker. Ooh, original art. Okay. Bear with me a second. Wow. Nice scans. Wow. This I love. I mean, Kirby just throws them into a assembly line factory for cars, and Make Way for the Merry Mutants. It's from Son of Origins from 1975. And, oh, yep, the other ones. Fantastic Firsts. I had this also. It was basically Origins of Marvel Comics 1 and 2. The only thing that sucked, though, the last issue was Origin with Wolverine. It was the Bill Jemas, what do you call Bill Jemas, Andy Kubert, Origin of the Wolverine from back 100 years ago, which I hated. It's so stupid. He stopped being a man of mystery, and everybody knew who he was. So it just wrecked a good character. I mean, Wolverine's not mysterious at all. You know, it's just they should never have done it. But you know, they were on the balls of their ass. I mean, they were still going bankrupt, so they did what they had to do. But that's a Bruce Timm cover, which is lovely. And this is Stuart Eminem. And oh, that's so nice. I'm glad they were including these. There's Art Adams. Dean White is painting over somebody's. Oh, yeah, this was fun too. For a brief time in late '79, they tried to bring back that old X-Men or those old reprint books, and they didn't. Unfortunately, they didn't take off. And because I was buying them, I thought I never could afford a Silver Surfer otherwise. So I can see that again. Well, hang in there. Okay, there's that. I love it. There's one angle, the two different light sources. That's pretty fun. I love that. This is Alex Ross, and this is Dean White, probably for, Marvel Masterworks. And I love Dean White's work on that stuff. And it tells you all the characters. Well, there you go, everybody. It's a good day. And I got this on a Saturday. That means I know what I'll be doing this day. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. It was very fun. I strongly recommend it. It's just, if you're, like I said, I'm quadruple dipping on some of these stories, but it doesn't matter because I try to think of what books came out at the same exact time as a book that I love, or several that I've loved. And this is the answer. All right. Talk to you later.